Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. We are going to talk about the newest set that will release this week, which is Genesis Impact. This is one of the subsets. This is not a main set, but there are a lot of things that we are going to talk about in this video. There are a lot of cool new archetypes coming. 3 to be specific, it's a kind of a deck build set like we are used to nowadays. And this is in the style of the Toon Chaos set that we've seen earlier this year. Meaning that all packs have like 4 rares I think and a super. There are a couple of ultras in there as well, and the collector rarity makes a comeback, which has some pretty cool prints. Personally, I really like the collector rarity, and I'm gonna get a couple of those cards, definitely. So one of the first archetypes that we are going to be talking about, if you are not familiar with these types of videos, I am going to talk about each set coming out, informing you about what to expect and what the cards do, so that you can have a heads up of, what the decks will be after. One of the first archetypes we are going to talk about are the hyped Life Twins. This is one of the most interesting archetypes in the set, definitely one that has the most potential. They have a couple of monsters, a couple of spell cards, and a trap card I believe. Basically the premise of the deck is that the monsters summon each other out, and it's a really cool link engine. They have a boss monster as well. They have a couple of cool cards. What it comes down to is they have like a 1 card link engine card that removes a card off the field and it draws a card, and it's kind of cool, but sadly as an archetype it's just not there. They cannot really consistently bring out their own boss monster, and it's gonna be cool to see what it does, because as an engine it will work out definitely, but as an archetype I am not sure if there are just enough cards yet. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that, because it will definitely be interesting in what deck set will be seen, because I am sure that a lot of people will think of things. There are a lot of combo videos online already. I know a lot of people are hyped for them. But I'm just interested to see if they are going to make the deck, or if it's going to be an engine in other decks. It's going to be cool to see, no matter what. The other archetype is Triatin. This is another kind of more gimmicky deck. This is a brand new ritual deck, which aims to support ritual with their own gimmick. I'm going to explain in a bit. The premises of the deck is they have a couple of level 1 monsters, and they all summon each other or themselves by tributing a Triatin or ritual card from your hand or field. But they all restrict you into not being able to special summon monsters that can be normal summoned. So they all cannot be normal summoned themselves, so they can summon each other. You can summon from the extra deck, you can ritual summon, that's all very good, but you cannot special summon monsters that can be normal summoned. Kind of a weird drawback, but I'm sure they figured something out. And when they are summoned by tributing a monster from your hand, or a ritual monster, or from your field, or whatever, they all get to summon another one from the deck or from the graveyard, or they draw a card, or they do something, and it's really cool. They all have like 1000 attack or something. It's really cool. Kind of generic ritual support, because their spell card is really interesting. This spell card lets you ritual summon a monster, but not by tributing levels, but by tributing attack points. So you don't need to fix your levels anymore. You don't have to have like 7 or higher, or something like that. But now you just have to have, like, for example, you want to ritual summon a Herald of Creation. You have to summon, you have to use 3, for example, Triatin monsters that can easily summon themselves from the grave and from the deck and from the hand. But only by attributing 3 for 3000 attack, because Herald is 28, or it's even 2000, I'm not sure what the defense was. You get where I'm going. Which is really cool, because the ritual spell is generic, so you don't have to be using them to summon the rituals from the Triatin, which you can, because they are strong. I'll talk about them in a bit. But you can ritual summon everything, so it's kind of generic ritual support. So I'm really interested to see what the people will think of with this specific archetype, because it's very cool to use the Triatins for their own boss monsters. But it's also cool to splash some generic cards in there, because you can just summon anything. There are no restrictions. Then they have 2 boss monsters as well. Both have 4k attack, so they need 4 Triatins, which is a lot, but I think that the deck can provide enough advantage to get there. One of the boss monsters has an effect to destroy back row, which is quite cool. The other one has a very interesting effect too. You can banish 2 monsters for a total of 2k attack to send 1 monster they control to the graveyard, and you can do that as much as you like. It's a once per turn effect, but you can banish, for example, 4 Triatins and then 4 monsters, which is really cool. I was reading the cards earlier and I was kind of like, oh cool, this monster has a destroy back row effect, the other one will have a destroy monster effect. But it's actually way better than that, since it's a quick effect. So it's really interesting to see where the deck will go, definitely keep an eye on that. The last archetype we are going to talk about is the Megastus. This is an archetype that isn't really hyped up by anyone, and I kind of see why. When I started reading the cards, they were all really cool. They were all based on the archetypes that we know, like Invoked or Endymion. I don't know the rest. But they will all be very familiar monsters that you have seen before, like Alistair. So again, this deck also has quite the gimmick, which is really cool that this set focuses on so many brand new things, like link climbing. But no, they have 4 main deck monsters, and they all have effects that summon each other or themselves from hand by utilizing spellcaster monsters. Like, for example, the Invoked engine is really good in this deck, which is really cool to see. More Invoked support. Thank you, Konami. We didn't ask for that, but you know, sure. Then they all have an effect that equips a extra deck monster to themselves. A Magistus extra deck monster, I have to say. And the spell cards also utilize that, and the extra deck monsters, they have a fusion, they have a synchro, they have an XC, and they have a link. So they have everything, which is really cool. And they all have like effects. Like the fusion, for example, equips to a monster on your opponent's side of the field. That monster gains 1000 attack. It cannot activate its effects, but you take control of the monster, which is really cool. The other ones have stuff that destroys back row, I believe, and that protects them or that lets them attack twice, which is really cool. And all the monsters equip from let you equip from the extra deck to the field. They also have a fusion, which is really cool. Magistus Invocation is just like Invocation from Alistair. You see the lines there going there. And that lets you fusion summon by using monsters from the spell and trap zones as well. So that's really cool. When I started reading the cards, I got really hyped when I read the Alistair monster. But after that, I kind of lost my excitement a little bit. Because, I don't know, the rest was kind of lackluster. I didn't really see where the deck was going to go from there. Like, they have some cool effects, some cool, nice, you know, interesting new mechanics, but I just didn't see it working together or with someone else. So, you know, I'm not really the biggest brain, but just this Invoked player out there, so I'm really curious to see what other people will think of. It's definitely cool, it can definitely hype you up. If you are a fan of Invoked, you will definitely like this as well, because it's really splashable. And yeah, something to highlight from that archetype for one last thing is that they have a Link 1 that can be made with a spellcaster monster, and it is light, so this will basically enable you to not place Salamangreat Almirage and Secure Garden anymore, because you can just link your Alistair away into a light monster, which is really cool, allowing Invoked to use Spellbook of Knowledge again without, you know, losing the advantage of linking your Alistair away. Then the last cards that we have to talk about are a couple of reprints. There are, of course, a bunch to provide support for the archetypes we have known. For Invoked, the Link monster is being reprinted together with the spell card, Book of the Law. There's no Alistair in here since it was reprinted in gold. There's also no Invocation, which is still a pretty expensive card, so it's interesting to see where they are going with that. They also reprinted Cocytus, I believe, and Megalankia. Those cards didn't really need a reprint, but now we have all the Invoked monster access, so that's kind of cool. They also reprinted Hat Tricker, which we haven't seen reprinted in a while. I believe the last was the Mega Pack 2018, so that has been quite a while away. Kind of needed its reprint. They also have Damaged Juggler in there, which is also kind of nice since it went to 3. The last cards that we have to mention are the Nightmares. We have Unicorn, we have Griffin, and we have Phoenix. And I believe all 3 are in Collector's Rare. Griffin might not be, but I am 100% sure that Phoenix and Unicorn will be Collector's Rare, which is a cool pimp. It's really nice to see the Collector Rare move to the extra deck a little bit as well, because, you know, having them in the main deck is cool, but, you know, that Collector's Rare Phoenix is really gonna do it for me, at least. So yeah, that has been it about Genesis Impact. I'm kind of hyped. I want my Collector's Rare. I'm gonna try to get my hands on them just as archetype and see where that will go. I can definitely see it work as a couple of extenders for the Invoked engine, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And what decks are you gonna build? Let me know in the comment section down below, and maybe we can work together on the best Magistus deck list ever, which will definitely not win a YCS, but you know, prank hits 112, so who knows what's gonna happen in the future. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. This Wednesday there will be a unboxing frenzy, I hope, of Genesis Impact, so if you want to see the pools, be sure to stay tuned. See you guys later.